Alright, I am back playing some more games, recording a little. I haven't been uploading as much lately because I've been out socializing away from the house, which certainly has its upsides, but one of the downsides would be I have less time to record. But I'm back. I'll record another episode of this. I'm actually leaving again. So, once I finish this, I'll just let the uploads commence, and then I'm gonna head on out. Without further ado, though, let's get back to the life and suffering of Sir Brante. Passion. The repercussions of your most recent encounter with the Archduke's daughter, Octavia, soon manifest themselves. A letter bearing the seal of the great dynasty of Milanitis arrives the next day. Inside the envelope, you find an invitation to Castle Serpenverda, the Archduke's residence. Visiting the Archduke of Magra himself is a great honor. To decline such an invitation would be an insult of colossal magnitude. You immediately purchase a new doublet in the latest fashion and ask Father to lend you a precious family brooch. It depicts the Brante family crest, and the leaves of the oak branch are made of tiny emeralds. Octavia should find it to her liking. Your family cannot help but notice your preparations. Mother watches nervously as you make sure everything is ready for your journey. This odd invitation has me worried, my son. Be careful in the Archduke's castle. You're still of low-born origin. Archnean attention spells danger to people like us, every time. Remember not to displease them, or the Milanitises will grind our family into dust. I got it, Mom. Don't worry about it. Come early morning, the carriage takes you away from the border walls of Anazote. It takes you a full day to reach Serpenverda, along the dusty, sun-scorched high road. While on the road, you read notes of Archnean traditions and rules of etiquette again and again. To preserve your family's honor, you must make the best possible impression. The provincial powers that will be watching your every step, and so will Octavia and her cunning grin. Only as the sun is about to set do you manage to spot the dark, colossal shape of Castle Serpenverda, a towering fortification of jet-black stone spread across a peak looming over the bed of a long-gone river. The carriage climbs the narrow serpentine road to the castle gate. Soldiers of the Archduke's Guard approach you, and you present them with the invitation. The guards eye you with suspicion, but give the signal to open the gate. You are now inside the walls of the Archduke's castle. You had expected to see many carriages of other guests beyond the gate, but the courtyard is strangely empty. The guards show you to a servant who guides you to a room reserved for guests and leaves you there to wait. The servant soon returns, and you follow him through the dimly lit corridors of Serpenverda, lavishly adorned with silver, emeralds, and weapons of war. The castle is silent. There is no noise, no music. It seems completely uninhabited. The sound of your footsteps is smothered by the soft velvet beneath your feet. The servant stops in front of a pair of massive doors made of black wood. This is your destination, he gestures silently. You enter an enormous room, its walls covered in portraits of ancestral relics. In the very center of the room is a towering throne carved of black wood. Upon the throne you see the delicate silhouette of Octavia Milanitis, clad in a black velvet dress embroidered in silver. With a commanding gesture, the Archnean lady bids you approach. You're here at last. Are you surprised, Angelo? How odd. You didn't think my father would actually summon you to an Archnean castle, did you? Or are you truly that naive? How sweet of you. No, it was I who summoned you here. You are alone in the castle. Portraits cover the walls, portraits of Archneans with dark eyes and jet-black hair. They all resemble birds of prey, and their eyes seem to watch you with contempt that makes you uneasy. Allow me to introduce you to my family. Family, this is a human by the name of Brante. What do you think of him, Father? She casts a defiant glance at the portrait of the Archduke Milanitis. Then she removes a glove from her hand and casts it as well. It hits the great Archduke right in the nose. Octavia laughs at that. and the tall walls and innumerable portraits echo her voice. Baffled, you ask Lady Melanitis why she has summoned you. Because you have caught my attention. I noticed you, even when you were somewhat younger than you are now. And then I started seeing you again and again. I've caught myself thinking about you quite often, and so I've decided that I wish to possess you. Oh my. You will become my companion. Other humans will envy you, but no one will dare cross you. My name will open any door you like. In return, you will satisfy my every whim, and I will do with you as I please. Whoa. Octavia rises from her throne, the hem of her dress lifting up to reveal her elegant, slender leg. You know the history of this throne, yes? My ancestor, Char Milanitis, used to sit here during the rebellion of Margra. Can you imagine that? Char Milanitis made decisions that transformed the entire empire, all from this very seat. And now it's gathering dust in the vainglorious art gallery of my father's Now, come to me, human. Octavia waits for you to do her bidding. One does not argue with an Archnean. Since the dawn of the Empire, they have taken whatever they wanted. If you refuse Octavia, daughter to the Archduke of Margra, you will insult her greatly. If you submit to this Archnean woman, if you become her plaything, everyone will know you are in good graces with Lady Melanitis herself. As a human, what more could you possibly dream of? You recall your chance encounters with her, from the days of your youth to more recent times. What are your feelings for this exceptional Archnean lady, and what does she truly want from you? If you are willing to enter into a perilous romance with Octavia, perhaps you could do it on your own terms, returning her affections while keeping your honor. Would she defy all the traditions of old for you and recognize you as her equal, even if only in secret? Octavia arches her back on her father's throne and waits for you, her slender hands beckoning you closer. Okay, we can submit to her, insist on being treated as equals, or we can reject her. You know, I have to say, I have a feeling about this world. Nothing is fair. Who's to say Octavia would follow with this? Maybe we can use her. And we could definitely use the reputation. Alright, I'll submit to her. Let's see the consequences of such an action. You have seen Octavia only briefly, and yet you seem to understand something about her already. You know what she wants, and you know how to take advantage of it. As soon as you follow the beckoning silky glove to the throne, Octavia stretches out her legs to you, a toying look in her eye. She is wearing black velvet high heels. Remove these, I am tired. You kneel chivalrously before her and take off one shoe, then another. Stockings cover her feet and legs. Smooth silk, so soft to the touch. You run your hand along her calf enchanted. Come closer, don't make me lean towards you. You bring yourself closer. Octavia reaches out for you for your still bowed head, her hands roughly caressing your face. A moment passes, and suddenly her arms wrap around your neck and her legs lock around your torso as she pulls you closer to her with all her might. You freeze in terror for a moment, not daring to resist the Archnean's assault. Whoa, this is escalating quickly. Then, just as suddenly, Lady Melanitis lets you go and stands. Without her shoes, she is shockingly tiny, barely as high as your shoulder. She suddenly grasps you by the cravat and drags you onto the throne. So, human, how do you like the seat of Char Milanitis? Just a piece of wood, don't you agree? Uncomfortable too, but spacious enough for two. Octavia's eyes are dark, black as the starless sky. The Archnean woman tears off your clothes, and her ravenous lips find your bare skin. Oh my. Vicious and insatiable, she thirsts for pleasure. But what does she see in you? Seek it with you. Well, why does she seek it with you? There we go. Why would she humiliate her ancestors and her very dynasty by having an affair with a human? Seeing you preoccupied, Octavia slaps you across the face and tells you to keep going. Your lips do her bidding, running down her body in a state of considerable undress. Octavia's inhuman passion swallows you and overtakes you, devoid of all tenderness. The youngest woman of the Milonitis dynasty demands, and you obey, until the vast halls echo with her satisfied moan. Oh my gosh! Octavia caresses your hair assertively. What do you want now from me, my human? But you didn't see that coming. You humbly bow and respond that all you want is to serve Lady Milonitis, satisfying her every whim, her every secret desire. Yet she would bring you great happiness if you and your family could live and prosper in her good graces, alive and safe from intrigue and ambush of any kind. With your family secure, you would be free to serve her as long as you live. My, you know your price, young Brante. And with whom should I put a word in for you, my sweet boy? You beg her to mention your name to the oldest of the Archduke's vassals, the most ancient families of Anizote. To mention that your family enjoys the Archduke's favor and deserves to be ennobled by the sword for all time. Octavia laughs at that. Her fingers squeeze your chin painfully. Ennobled by the sword? Your ambitions run so low. But what am I saying? You're only human, after all. Very well. I'll be your secret patron, as long as you keep me entertained. Bring me my clothes and help me get properly dressed. Then go to your room for the night. You will leave at dawn and return to your silly service and your cases. I will visit Anizote now and again, and send you letters when I wish to meet you. My pleasure is your first and most important duty from now on. Never forget that. You kneel before Lady Milonitis and kiss her hand. You could never forget, not even if you wanted to. Okay, well, that was Steamy. Octavia is now our patron. We get a +1 to reputation. You have started an affair with the daughter of the Archduke Milonitis. I sure hope that doesn't get me in trouble. Brothers in misery. Your home has been much more peaceful for the last year. The fights between Stephen and Gloria are not as fierce now. But how long will it last? Your job takes up all your time. You see your parents and siblings less and less often. Sometimes you don't even know what they are doing while you deal with the constant stream of duties. Ah, adulthood. This morning you head out on urgent business. You take one step out the gate and run into a uniformed gendarme. Angelo Brante, your presence is requested at the prefecture dungeon. Taken aback, you ask what this is about. We have your brother Stephen and Nathan Brante in a cell. Brothers. They were arrested last night at the Steiner's Inn. They asked us to send for you. I see Stephen and Nathan are really helping the family and their reputation. The cells in the prefecture dungeon are cold and damp. The guards lead you to the bars, and behind them you see Nathan huddled in the corner. Your younger brother is unshaven, more disheveled than usual, and reeking of wine and filth. Near the cell you see Stephen grimly sitting in a chair. You guess that the gendarmes thought it best not to put him in the same cell as your low-born brother. Upon seeing you, Nathan lets out a whimper, and Stephen cracks a bitter smile. The sheath on your brother's belt is empty. There you are at last, Angelo. Have a look at our younger brother. Yesterday he got drunk in the company of some dubious fellows. They are commoners, yet they dared to surrender to pleasure. They started a brawl, wrecked the inn, and harassed the waitresses. As soon as I heard, I rushed to save this drunkard from shame. Nathan cowers in the corner, horror-struck. I walked in and demanded that Nathan come with me, but his cronies wouldn't let him go. That's not true. You just grabbed me by the collar and dragged me after you. You nearly suffocated me. Shut your mouth, cur. So, brother, they seem to have some sort of sect. They all shouted defamations against the twin gods, and one of them grabbed me by the arm. I was forced to skewer this heretic with my sword. I hope a lesser death will teach him never to lay his filthy paws on a nobleman. He was just trying to talk to you, Stephen. Silence. Then the gendarmes barged in, and here we are. I have been accused of an unlawful murder. Apparently, the new laws allow killing a commoner only if he attacks first or wields a weapon. They say that in the event of an insult, I'm supposed to file a complaint with the prefecture. So now they're going to seize my sword for a whole year. What a shame. And it's all your fault, Nathan. Oh gosh, don't take responsibility for your own actions there, Stephen. Stephen gives the bars a furious kick. Nathan covers his face with his hands in despair. Angelo, brother, you are our only hope. Get me my sword back and get us out of here. And fast. We have to bury this sordid affair as deep as we can before anyone finds out. Save our family from shame. I can use my authority. Take them to the Inquisition. It's not an option because I'm not a priest. Can't blackmail a judge because we're not lotless. I can ask Father what help that seems to get some pretty bad consequences. Or I can refuse to help them, but doesn't seem good either. I feel like this is the only good option. So let's use our authority. You use your position as a judge to free Stephen and Nathan. You command the gendarmes to give the nobleman Stephen Brante his sword back at once. He has not broken any law and must be freed. As for Nathan Brante, you will personally cover the damages the inn has sustained. This is no reason to keep the son of a noble family behind bars. But, Your Honor, Stephen ran that man through right before our eyes. The law says... You glare furiously at the captain. That commoner, a heretic no less, dared to insult a born nobleman and grab his arm? Or does Lenad claim to know the law better than Judge Brante? Remembering his position, the gendarme nods obediently and returns Stephen's confiscated sword. I knew I could count on you, Angelo. You aren't just my brother after all, but also a nobleman yourself. You know that honor is always paramount. Stephen sheaths his sword reverently as Nathan is led out of the cell. The older brother takes the younger by the scruff of his neck and pulls him to the door. Nathan staggers and shuffles along limply. You managed to conceal the disgraceful occurrence from all of your relatives with the exception of Sir Elborn. The prefect is very displeased with your abuse of power, but needless to say, he does not order his nephew Stephen to be returned to his cell. Back home, Stephen starts lecturing Nathan. From now on, there will be no more drinking bouts or other nocturnal exploits. Who are those rogues you befriended anyway? Stop shaming this family. If you're so worthless, at least let others go about their business in peace. Do you understand, you blockhead? Nathan remains silent, staring despondently somewhere above him. Okay. A lot of things going on there. Stephen and Nathan seem like kind of dummies. The case of Father Mark. Your most recent year of service at the prefecture has seen an increase in litigation on crimes against the church. More and more people are joining the ranks of the new faith in Anazote. The movement began with destitute beggars who had nothing to lose. But for years now, many well-off commoners and new nobles have been joining the fold. People say the leader of the new faith in Anazote is Father Lennart, the abbot of the temple at the Silver Tree. The city's leaders would love to expel him, but he is too highly regarded by the common folk. Complaints and cases of defiance of one's lot keep pouring in. Every day somebody is reported by their neighbors for heresy. Many commoners, adherents of the old faith, fear that such flagrant defiance of the lots will usher in a prophesied wrath of the gods. However, you and the other judges have no choice but to reject most of these cases. As a secular institution, the prefecture has no authority when it comes to crimes against the faith. Only the church and the Inquisition have any say here. In the middle of another busy day at the prefecture office, the door suddenly swings open. A tall gendarme wearing an officer's uniform walks in. He takes off his helmet, adjusts his short, fair hair, and bows to you hastily. Captain Linad reporting, Your Honor. My boys finally caught Father Mark, the dreaded apostate heretic. The prefect told us to take him in for judgment. You, bring him in. 2 gendarmes bring in a short, stout man wearing a worn, dirty priest's cassock. Priests wear the sacred symbols of the twins, a cross within a circle. But this man does not. Forced to sit before you, this odd-looking priest is nonetheless strangely undisturbed by his arrest. His eyes, curious and glimmering with life, study you intently. This is him, Father Mark in the flesh. We caught him trying to preach that teaching of his, smack in the middle of a drinking hole for the lowborn in the Grey district. Some guy took offense and called for the gendarmes, and we got him here, and we got there right away. Father Mark, you've heard the name ever since you were a child. His cult of rejection of the twins has expanded tenfold over the past several years, with nobles, commoners, and even other priests joining his flock. The institution has hunted this heretical apostate for years, but Father Mark has always eluded capture, until now. Some say he has powerful protectors. Here are statements from people at the establishment, Your Honor. You flip through pages of handwritten statements. Father Mark isn't just preaching, he is openly defying not only the lots, but even the twins themselves. Father Mark teaches that the gods have neither design nor purpose for us, so we are under no obligation to serve them or prepare our souls for the hereafter. You put the papers away, ready to question the profane priest. What was the subject of his sermons? What was he trying to convince his listeners to do? Father Mark prefaces his answers with a dazzling smile. As a judge, it is your duty to enforce secular law. You know as well as I do that I have broken no such law. I am a priest, my friend, and in the Empire, priests are allowed to preach. I was preaching the proper way to live one's worldly life, for this is the only existence we have. I told my listeners not to waste their lives serving those gods. The twins surely love us, but alas, their love violates us as much as their law. This entire world is proof of that. I see my words upset you, but I'm afraid you can't judge me guilty of that. Here's why. You see, mine is the priestly lot. If the judgment of the church is to be trusted, which means that only the Inquisition tribunal may find me guilty. So you could hand me over to those black-clad thugs, but alas, you will get absolutely nothing in return. The Inquisition wants to light their pyres in every corner of Anazote, and all they need for that is me. As soon as they get me, the Inquisitors will tell the prefecture to step aside and start enforcing the law themselves. Is that what you want, my friend? So what are you going to do with me? Well, let's think about it. As a secular judge, you can't judge me guilty, but giving me to the Inquisition will weaken the prefecture. And so, my friend, everybody will be better off if you just set me free. Trust an old philosopher. It's better for me, better for your prefect, better for you as well. I'm not your friend, guy. Surprisingly, the gendarme captain smiles knowingly at these words. He leans over and whispers a few words into your ear. You cannot help but notice the scars all over his neck. I say the old heretic's right, Your Honor. If he's still got the priestly lot, he's the Inquisition's problem. It's too dangerous for the prefecture to meddle in churchly affairs. And, strictly between you and me, if the reports I've been getting are to be trusted, this here Mark's been rubbing elbows with Patriarch Cassius himself. Letting him go might get us on his good side, and Sir Patriarch's a very wealthy man. But suddenly the captain's voice trails off as the door to your office opens without warning. There's a young woman in the door, clothed in a black cassock and bearing the telltale silver seal of the Inquisition. I am Sister Jeanne, Your Honor. I serve the Order of the Inquisition. That stern face, those piercing brown eyes, they are somehow familiar. Of course, this is the young acolyte girl from the temple at the Silver Tree, the one you saw during the school visit. She is an inquisitor now. Your men did well to track down and arrest Father Mark. Splendid. We've been hunting this false preacher for a long time. As I'm sure you know, priests may not be judged by secular laws, Your Honor. Mark has denigrated the twins and called for the people to reject them. He has broken his sacred vows and defied his lot. He will face the tribunal of the Inquisition for his transgressions. The man before you is a great threat to the people of Anizote, Judge Brante. His words lead people astray. His speeches doom them to eternal suffering at the foot of the pillar. Only the Church knows the way to end his heresy. You will hand Father Mark over to me at once. Sister Jeanne remains in the doorway, wordlessly refusing to leave the prefecture without the captured heretic. The gendarmes and the captain stand still, awaiting your orders. Father Mark is lounging in the chair, enjoying himself and eyeing you curiously, waiting for your decision on this contentious situation. So, can't prosecute the case with the Inquisition? We can judge him. We can hand him over to the Inquisition. Or we can set him free. And I have to say, I see something here, +2 wealth, when we have low wealth as it is. That seems really good. And it also gives us a +1 in scheming. These options seem only okay. I like this option, actually. Father Mark has not violated any imperial law. If the Inquisition wants him so badly, they can catch him on their own. How do you like that, Inquisition? You tell Sister Jeanne that, regardless of the situation, legal action is required, and legal action takes time. Then make haste, Your Honor. When it comes to protecting the faith, my order will brook no delay. The Inquisitor leaves your office, clearly displeased. You are left alone in your office with Father Mark. He is still as calm as before, eyeing you, waiting for you to speak. You admit that Mark, as a priest, has not violated any imperial law with his sermon, and you are no inquisitor, and thus not qualified to judge the truth or falsehood of his teachings. You are demonstrating a will of your own, my friend. Well done, Your Honor. This is your first step towards freedom. Yours, not mine. Your fellow judges won't understand your decision, but you mustn't let that cloud your judgment. Handing me over to the Inquisition would spark far more than a single pyre. The Inquisitors would gladly break every imperial law you have. You have protected the authority of the prefecture. Well done. Although I can't say you will be free of this predicament anytime soon, but then again, I'm sure one of my many patrons will be happy to soften the blow with a helping of earthly boons. But we have a more pressing matter to discuss right now, don't we? Boy, he's a cocky little man, isn't he? Father Mark. He kind of strikes me as a snake oil salesman, too. You summon Captain Lanad once again and give him your instructions. Father Mark is to be taken to the prefecture jail, and mysteriously disappear from his cell during the changing of the guard at night. You will close the case before then, so there will be no need for a manhunt. Lanad chuckles knowingly and sets off to follow his orders. You fill out the necessary paperwork. No violation of imperial law found. Case closed. You write, then file the aborted case against Father Mark away in a box. The Inquisition learns of this only days later. Sister Jeanne bursts into your office, beside herself with rage. You call yourself a judge after this, Sir Brante? How dare you defy the Inquisition? Protecting a heretic like Father Mark shows you for the fool and apostate you truly are. We had him, but thanks to you, the Markian heresy will continue poisoning the souls of those whose faith is weak. Hundreds and hundreds will follow Mark to the foot of the pillar, in the hereafter. You will be responsible for the eternal torment, Sir Brante, and rest assured, the Inquisition will not forget this. Gosh, I have to say, that seems like your problem, not mine. You return home, exhausted by a long day of threats and accusations. What awaits you back home, however, is a pleasant surprise, a treasure trove of fine wine straight from the cellar of Cassius, Patriarch of Magra. Your servants tell you the wine came with a letter. Sir Brante, please enjoy this wine. Savor your earthly life before the twins snatch it away as well. Okay, yeah, I like that choice there. 1141, we are 23 years old. The guns of Illyria. Magra has received alarming news from its neighboring province of Illyria. The lowborn convicts toiling in the Illyrian mines have revolted against their noble masters. For the first time in many long, peaceful years, commoners have taken up arms. Worse yet, the insurgents had guns and gunpowder, and no one knows how they got them. Gunpowder weapons were banned throughout the Empire as soon as they were invented. The lords deemed firearms dishonorable and unfit for the nobles. Even Legion soldiers are forbidden from using them. But now gunshots were echoing through the mutinous Illyrian mines. Their Imperial Legion was deployed to quell the riot. The legionaries slaughtered the rebels without mercy, and the uprising choked to death on its own blood before it had even begun. The south of Illyria is now a forest of gallows. The convicts' corpses were left swaying in the wind as a warning to any commoner who might dare to take up arms. Although the rebellion quickly succumbed to the Imperial military's onslaught, many Legion soldiers and officers were slain by the insurgents' firearms. Their steel armor was no match for bullets. The rioters' weapons were destroyed in a public ceremony, but no one knows who built or smuggled them into the mines. All Imperial overseers soon issued public reminders to their provinces. The punishment for owning a gunpowder weapon is true death by execution. But the Empire is still restless, still anxious. Somehow, guns found their way into commoners' hands, if only for a short time. Could gunpowder and lead one day endanger the old ways of the Empire? Authorities of Magra feared the unrest may soon spill over here. Due to the double tax, peasant farms and industrial manufactories are facing harsh times. The province's wealth is steadily declining, but the discontent of the commoners is still held back by the eternal lot that demands they accept their suffering. Okay, misery and devastation sets in. I can see things are getting a little tough here. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. More to come. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I love you. Not really.